So thank you all again for being here with me for another edition of Mixtape Monday. I have the most amazing guest ever, Blaine Dillinger in the house. Many of you might know him from Hirie, from Shrub Music, and from Dillinger's Hired Guns. How are you doing today, Blaine?
I'm fantastic. How are you doing?
I'm doing pretty good, man. Can't complain.
Heck yeah, heck yeah. It's Monday, so I feel like if there's gonna be a day to complain, it's this one.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I've actually been working on some really great music all day today, which happens to be one of your tracks.
I'm so excited.
Yeah, and it's coming along amazing. I'm so excited about it that I got to hear your part, and everything's coming together really, meshing really well.
Heck yeah. Yeah, it's great to have you on it. I mean, you crushed it on the last one, so I can only imagine how awesome it's going to be having that low end there for this one.
Thank you. Yeah, you were working on your guitar solo as well, huh?
Yes. I've been working on it for about a week now, trying to get it up to par.
How's that going?
Slowly. So this song is called Ninjelephant, is the one I'm working on, and it features Kyle Ahern, lead guitarist of Revolution, on lead guitar as my, I don't know, back and forth solo companion. And he sent me this solo. He's like, here you go, bro. And it just blew my little mind. And so I had to spend like a good week just picking myself up off the floor, and then a whole nother week like writing something to try to keep up. So I'm really excited for people to hear it once it comes out, because it is a shred fest. If people thought the last one was pretty shreddy, this one is woo.
Yeah. For lack of better words, it's woo, folks. Okay, in your face, woo. It's pretty mind-blowing. Just being able to work with you has been so much fun, and being able to work with all the different artists that you've been, bringing to this project. And thank you so much for letting me be a part of it. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, it's just been amazing having you. You're just adding a lot of fun to the bass lines, like, because when I play them, I tend to overthink things, and I'm tend to like writing parts, and I tend to like approach certain bass things as like a guitar player, because that's my primary instrument. So it's nice having the touch of somebody who lives and breathes that low end, who's really naturally in tune with the drummer, and who's really inclined to be able to like zigzag in and out of what needs to be there with the extra. And it's amazing having you.
Yeah, man, thank you so much. So let's see who's in the room. Marcio, Eugene, Kent. Yes, that is a fuckload of bricks behind me. Megan, what's up? Coffee Club in the house. We got Lee Flynn. We've got Jesse. What is up, all you guys? I knew Coffee Club would come through in the end, like you always do. We are here to talk all things Blaine, and I feel like I know you on a personal level just because you are so open with yourself and your fans, and you do have, this coffee club and this approach to, really going one-on-one with your fans and taking it to a really personal level. So maybe I know everything about you, or think I do, but maybe for the rest of the people that aren't a part of Coffee Club, you could give us a little bit of your history and a little bit of your background, and maybe we could start at the beginning, like what your parents used to listen to when you grew up.
All right. Hi, my name is Blaine Dillinger. I grew up in a small town of Findlay, Ohio, surrounded by cornfields. And I grew up listening to a lot of classic rock. So much classic rock. That's really all that played there, was super easy listening, top 40 stuff and classic rock. There wasn't much of an in-between. So I got to appreciate a lot of really talented guitar players growing up, and that was amazing. Around high school, college, in that intermediate, late teen stage, I started getting into a lot more different types of music, jam bands. I started getting into them, and from there I went into like soul and R&B and into jazz. And then I eventually went to Ohio State University, got a degree in jazz guitar performance, even though I'm a horrible jazz guitar player.
Oh, stop it.
It's like jazz is, for me, is a vehicle. You know what I mean? Like the old adage is, if you can play jazz, you can play anything. So I kind of use the program to further my own individual music style, but I am not like one of those cats who's like, I'm a jazz musician. You know what I mean?
Okay.
And then I started playing with this hip hop guy by the name of Shrub, and I helped produce his first album, and then eventually formed a band with him. And he was, in addition to being a hip hop guy, which is the only kind of genre of his that I knew, he was also a big reggae head. But I was not into reggae, and I didn't understand or appreciate reggae at the time. Besides a couple of notable exceptions, Bob Marley, Buju Banton, and UB40. I think those were the three artists I kind of listened to prior to knowing reggae or the culture or the music that well. And he turned me on to all these amazing cats. He would be like, hey man, we're gonna go open for Collie Buds, and I'd be like, who? And he'd be like, listen to this. And I'm like, oh crap, yes, let's do this. Or like, hey man, we're gonna open for Revolution tomorrow. Who's that, bro? And
wow.
same kind of idea. I mean, I knew Sublime, and I was a little familiar with Slightly Stoopid, and I was a huge 311 fan. But other than that, like as far as American reggae, I had no clue. So I'd be playing with these people, and then at the same time learning who they are and appreciating the music that they put out.
Wow, that's so crazy. That's cool though. It's a badass story.
Yeah, it was super cool. And then I moved out to California. It was originally San Francisco. Started playing with this band called Clear Conscience, also a reggae band. And then I started meeting a lot more people. We played the Cali Roots Fest, and then a couple of years later, I ended up taking a temporary position as a sub guitarist for this band Hirie, and they just kept calling me back. So I eventually moved down to San Diego in 2015. I want to say I started playing with them in 2014, and just been grinding it ever since with those guys, and couldn't be happier.
Got you. So you moved to San Diego specifically for the band Hirie?
Yes.
Awesome. So are all you guys located in San Diego?
For the most part. Our drummer is located in LA, okay. And our sax player sax player just moved up to San Francisco Bay Area like a month ago. And what else? Our other rhythm guitarist / backing vocalist lives in LA as well. But for the most part, everyone lives down here. When I first started playing with them, I used to take the train back and forth for band practice from San Francisco to San Diego.
Whoa! How long would that take you?
Oh, it was a good 8 to 10 hours minimum each way. So I'd go down there. Trish and Jamie would let me like crash out in the spare room on a couch, and then I'd stay there for a few days, do some band practices, maybe play a couple shows, and then take the train back. And then I did that for basically a year.
Wow. And then you're like, you know what? It'd be a lot cheaper and a lot easier if I just moved down to San Diego.
Yeah. I mean, at first, like I said, it was a kind of a temporary position. I was just the sub guitarist. But eventually, after playing with them and realizing it was going to be a long-term thing, and I decided to, move down there. And when I moved down there, I slept on a cot next to a dollhouse in our lead singer's apartment because her daughter slept with her and her husband in the main room.
Nice.
It was amazing.
So would you play with the dolls in the dollhouse?
I mean, what I do in the privacy of someone else's room on their cot is between me and the dolls. No.
Oh my God, you heard it here first, folks. You are crazy. That's hilarious. Let's see who else is here with us. Jesse, Dad, Justin, Megan, Jake, Eugene, Robert, Coffee with Blaine, Janet. What's up? So for everybody that's just tuning in, Blaine let us know that he used to live next to a dollhouse for many months. He didn't play with the dolls, so he says, but you know, take it for what it is, folks. Take it for what it is. So how long have you been playing with Hirie now?
I started in May of 2014, so that would be little over 6 years.
Wow, that's so awesome. And I know Hirie is a pretty well-known reggae band. What's tour life like for you guys? Are you guys mostly on the road? I mean, besides this year, obviously.
Yeah, besides this year. Yeah, we're on the road about 6 months a year. Maybe more, depending on if you count, how you count your travel days. But it's around 120 to 140 shows on average every year.
Wow.
Yeah, it's pretty nonstop. And we're starting to do a lot more international travel and working on international tours now. So it's awesome, but it's a whirlwind, that's for sure. I can't even believe it's been 6 years, honestly.
Yeah, so with such a crazy schedule, do you find you guys, now that you have so much time at home, to just kind of like focus on working on new albums and working on new music?
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of what I think. I don't think everybody realized how much they needed a break until we were forced to take one. It's been insane. Like, I forgot how to live in one place. Like, and I forgot how much of a balance I need to strike within myself, because when you're on tour and you're gone like anywhere from a month to 2 months to 3 months at a time. I think the longest one we did was, about 3 months. And you're only literally home, like you may get a fly home for a weekend or half a week, or you might get off of a tour, but then you have like 2 or 3 fly dates for that month, and then you're back on the next tour. You kind of forget that like there's this whole other side to living, because like when I would get home, I just sleep for like 24 hours, and then I'd like get ready for the next time I have to leave. But it's nice to be able to like pursue some other passions, like and then like get some rest, get some perspective, all the things that you never think about because you're just constantly on the move.
Yeah, and I mean, you're still constantly on the move, since I see you every day, mostly, for Coffee with Blaine. I pretty much know what you're doing every day as I stalk you. No, I'm just joking. But it seems like you're always just very motivated. Like, you are definitely somebody that like got me out of my like comfort zone and like really inspired me and motivated me to kind of like just get my shit together and really like step up my game a little bit, because I was like watching you. And it was really intriguing to me just how like every day you were like getting online, and every day you're like interacting with your fan base, and you were just so consistent with it. And I think one of the first times that I even ever came live after I broke my 2 front teeth was whenever you had asked me to come on your live stream, and I was like freaking out because I hadn't seen anybody, like I hadn't been on Facebook or anything, and it took me at least 45 minutes to convince myself I was gonna like jump on this live stream with you. And when I did it, it was just so fun. And so now everybody could blame you for this Sunshine Show mixtape, all this, because you were a huge inspiration to me. So I definitely want to tell you thank you so much. And I know that you must inspire so many other people out there.
Oh, thank you. I mean, honestly, you could see like it being like, oh, he's being inspirational and shit. But I mean, honestly, like with the Coffee with Blaine and with the things I'm doing, it's just because I kind of miss that connection. So kind of the story behind that is like I went on these tours, right? And most of the time it's literally go, go, go. But if you wake up early enough, and the tour bus parks, and you get out and you wipe your eyes and you get on your phone and you Google coffee or breakfast, and you find the coolest like Yelp reviewed local spot, and then you just grab some of your buddies from the bus and you walk down and you just be fucking normal for like an hour out of your day before all the craziness starts. And I really missed that. So I started the Coffee with Blaine. I was just sitting there drinking coffee by myself because my girl was at work, and I'm like, why don't I just invite some people to have coffee with me and we just chat and be fucking normal before all the craziness starts. And that was kind of the whole inspiration. So being able to talk to these people and you know, whoever wants to, because it's free, I just do it on Facebook and now on Instagram, alternating. It's great for me because we get to have discussions, we get to just be normal people, and we get to interact in that kind of way that we really can't in this quarantine necessarily the way we want to. Does that make sense? I don't know. I think I'm rambling now.
No. Yeah, that makes absolute sense. Your motivation, whatever it is for it, I mean, I love it. And it does totally make sense, especially if you just, you know, spend most of your life on tour and engaging with your fans and stuff. You know, that's a big part of your life. I'm sure Christy's very excited that you're home.
Yeah. It's nice. Though Christy is amazing, first of all. But she is the only girl I've ever, you know, dated, been romantically involved with, whatever, that understands my life and my lifestyle, because she lives it too. So like, she's editor-in-chief for this music publication called Top Shelf Music, and she is constantly out at festivals. She's constantly out at shows, doing tours. Like she's living the life. She knows the people, she knows everything. And so, you know, being with her, it's been amazing, because like when I do have to tour or when she has to go, we can be awesome individually and then get together and be more awesome together. And I've always wanted that, and I finally have it. So I'm super lucky. But yeah, having the time to actually spend with her and get to know her, and not being like, hey, we have a month.
Yeah.
It's so much nicer, you know, because it's easy not to get to know someone when you're constantly away from them. And I feel like this has been a great opportunity for us to both grow individually and as a couple, because we're just here, and that's not our normal thing. So yeah. Like, hopefully when we are able to be normal again for us, it'll, you know, this time will have strengthened that bond and allow us to be even more awesome.
No, yeah, I think so. No, yeah, that's super cool, man. So tell us a little bit about Dillinger's Hired Guns.
All right. So Dillinger's Hired Guns came kind of around 2012, 2013, when I first moved out to California. I just got in with like 4 years of jazz school, and I had an opportunity to play some random events, private gatherings, business functions, where you basically, yacht clubs, you just go and you play background music for people as they're eating, or in entranceways to a larger party in another room, or like random things. And the pay was really good, and I had met some really great cats who were into the same type of, you know, tunes that I was and arrangements that I was. So I'd either play by myself or I had a little trio, and, you know, they needed a name. So I just called it Dillinger's Hired Guns, because hired guns is a term when you're like freelancing out people for work. So then I put out a jazz fusion album-ish in EP in 2013 of just total randomness of stuff that was stuck in my head. And then I just kind of let it fall by the wayside because I got picked up by Hirie, and then I started, doing all the things. Fast forward to this year when we have literally nothing going on, I've wrote a lot of songs or instrumental type zygote songs, if you will, over the years, just from the bus on my phone or on my laptop or in a hotel room or, on the bus or wherever. So I wrote all these songs and they just sit there because I never have any time to do anything with them. And I thought this was the year that I was going to really put out a lot of the stuff that I was writing and explore my own personal voice, because when you're playing in the context of somebody else's music, you're still playing in a context. So this was my opportunity to get all the weird stuff out of my head and into people's ears who are feeling like listening.
All the weird stuff in your head. You're so funny, dude. I think all your music is so badass, and I love the little animal themes on this current album. I know I did Jellyfish of Love with you that we released. Gosh, was it last month or the month before? I'm kind of losing track of time.
It might have been 2 months ago. I've been slacking.
But dude, such a bomb track. And then the next one that we have coming out, I'm super excited about that too. So did you release that first album that you did with the Hired Guns?
Yeah. So if you go to Spotify or any of my Pandora or any of my pages or whatever, the album is called NorCal on the 8th. Because there's a term in jazz music, because the Weather Channel would play different jazz cuts 8 minutes after every hour while they were doing the weather. Oh. So it would be called, it would be called just On the 8th, and that would be where you'd hear these jazz cuts. And so I just moved to NorCal, and I was like, oh, NorCal on the 8th, because it's my weird interpretation of jazz. And those songs are available for streaming in all the places. There's one that I was really proud of. It's called Chick Theater. And it sounds like a peep show, but it's more of a... I was kind of writing something in between jazz and prog because it was very structured, like prog rock is, but it was very... loose. So I was pairing together prog rock, Dream Theater, obviously, and then jazz, Chick Corea, two big inspirations. So I'm like, I'll just call it Chick Theater. And it's kind of cool because it's got this little Dave Brubeck type of thing where there's an extra beat added every other time around in the chord progression.
Oh, tricky.
So it's in 3/4, but you have one measure of 4/4 that pops around every other time.
Nice.
Yeah, and I love doing little things like that. I don't know if you caught that in Ninjelephant, but
I sure did, Blaine. I sure did. I'm like, okay, what is going on here? Let me listen to this 20 times. Okay, got it.
Yeah, with that one, you normally want to hear stuff in groups of 4, right? 4-bar phrases, but this is a 3-bar phrase. So every time you want to hear that last bar, it starts over again.
Flips around, yeah.
Yeah.
I like it though, dude, because it's unexpected, but it just flows so nicely. It's meant to be. So, let's see who else is with us. Jesse, of course. Oh, Jonas. Wow, Dream Theater and Chick Corea. Yeah, you heard it here first. That's what Blaine's all about.
Just to reiterate, the song does not sound like Chick Corea mixed with Dream Theater. Those are just inspirations for the styles of music for the song. Though I really like the song, please don't compare it to either of those.
If anybody wants to ask Blaine any questions, anybody that's just joining us, this is an amazing guitar player, plays with Shrub, Hirie, and Dillingers Hirie Guns. Drop your questions in the link or in the comment section. We're going to play a little game now that I like to call Final Trivia. Woo! And we will test Blaine Dillinger's knowledge and see just how well structured in jazz studies he is.
Oh, no.
We will start with the easy one. Which means it's not easy, right? Which means it's so hard.
Let's see. What is this? Oh, wait. I know what this is.
What do you mean you know what this is?
This is John Cage's 433. Because it's all silence, right? I got this one. That's one.
Can you hear it? It's somebody that normally plays the vibes, but he's playing the piano. Who's a famous vibe player that you know? Jazz vibes. My hairless dog is named after him, Blaine.
Oh, that's tough. It is definitely hard to hear. Vibe player that normally plays the.
It's okay. I don't blame you for not getting it. I bet nobody would get it. Does anybody?
Yeah, let's see if anyone gets into the comments, because I want to see who nailed it down.
Does anybody know who this famous jazz vibe player is that was playing the piano? Anybody. I will give you 10 seconds to put it in the comments. Anybody. Nobody knows it, so it's okay. Are you ready?
All right, I'm ready.
For this inconspicuous album that nobody would know, because it's probably the toughest one that I could have started with. We have Thelonious Monk and John Coltrane live at Carnegie Hall. Who would know this? Probably nobody.
Oh my God, are you serious? That's amazing, because that was gonna be my guess. Anyway.
Blaine, you
I choked. I'm a horrible test taker.
Don't do that. This is copy 933 out of 1,000 released vinyls. Okay.
That's amazing.
So this
all right.
I actually got to play with. We're gonna do a little bit of jazz, but I'm gonna mix it up a little bit too. I actually got to play with this guy, and he is an amazing jazz trumpet player. And the reason I did buy this vinyl because I played with him, but also because the cover is amazing. You ready? Mr. Blaine, if you do read your comments on Coffee Club, I did mention to your brother, I believe, that I did play with this artist.
Oh my God.
Does anybody know who this is? Anybody? Jonas? No, not Dizzy. Okay, it's okay. I know none of you guys are going to get this either, because this one's hard too. This is Maynard Ferguson, but check out this cover art.
Whoa.
Is that
That's
not
amazing?
He is sexy. That is a sexy beast right there, okay? Just so you guys know, nobody would have ever known any of these artists, so.
Maynard Ferguson, hell yeah. I think I've only listened to his stuff maybe once or twice, but
this is dope. So fun. This is so fun. Okay, here, you should definitely get this one. If you don't, no coffee for you tomorrow. Good job. Good job.
That's the voice right there. That's the voice.
What's your favorite Curtis Mayfield song? You got one?
I don't necessarily have a favorite because when I'm listening to Curtis Mayfield, it's weird. Most of the time I'm like listening to singles from people, but with him I just put on an album and just like listen all the way through. And I did a coffee live, and I got a chat with his guitar player for several years.
Really?
Yeah.
Like he came on the show?
Yeah, well, he was just commenting, and I was talking about some sort of tune or whatever, and he just kept commenting, and he was this guy I went to college with. He's much, much older, but he was going to school just to get a degree because he could.
Yeah. Don't you hate those guys? They're like, oh, I got 3 degrees of music.
And it's so incredible. And he's like, yeah, man, I was the guitarist on Superfly, and I toured with him for several years, and I was also like I played with Aretha Franklin for a few years. And,
wow.
Like dude's incredible. So I literally had a conversation kind of like what we're having just after that live stream, and lasted for probably like 2 hours. It's super dope.
Dude, that's what's up. When you get to like come in contact with those kind of people, it's like good to like get as much information out of them as possible.
Yeah.
Okay, you ready for the next one? This one's really easy.
You keep saying that.
No, but this one really is easy. This one really is easy. You got 10 seconds for this one because this shouldn't take you no longer than that.
Oh, yeah, that's Pink Floyd. That's Money.
Pink Floyd Money, that was good. Released in 1973 on Gramophone Company Limited.
So I learned a fun fact about that.
Tell me about it.
All right. So Money has 2 sections, right? So Money is also one of those tracks, kind of like Dave Brubeck, when they're messing with different time signatures, kind of like I like to do.
Yeah.
And they try to make it sound as normal as possible. So Money's in 7/4 or 7/8, however you want to count it. And David Gilmour did not want to solo in 7/4. So they made the sax player solo in 7/4. Then when David's solo came up, they switched to a 4/4 groove so he could play in his comfort zone.
Wow.
And that's why the bass line and everything changes to boom, 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 boom for the back half of the guitar solo.
I had no idea. Sorry, that's crazy. Good to know though. I love fun facts. Okay, this one is super easy. It is in but it is in the reggae genre, and I wouldn't be surprised if you've at least toured or at least played like a few shows with these guys. And if you haven't, well, I'm sure you will in the future. Ready?
All right.
Anybody can guess. Wait, is it the right speed? I gotta speed it up.
Oh, this has got to be Stick Figure. This is Stick Figure, isn't it? This is kind of amazing, actually. I think I'd listen to a whole album of this.
Oh my god! Yeah, that is Burial Ground Stick Figure.
Oh my god.
I got this. Let's see. Released in 2012 by Stick Figure Music. I got this at a show that they played at the Catalyst.
That's awesome.
I don't really recommend buying vinyl at shows because it seems like every vinyl that I get at a live show ends up being like warped. Of course, my vinyl was not, or my record player wasn't on the right speed for this one, but.
That's awesome. Stick Figure. When I joined Hirie, Stick Figure was the first band that I toured with.
Oh really?
Yeah, it was a cross country tour, and it was before Stick Figure really blew up. And it was Stick Figure, this band that I don't think is playing anymore called Pacific Dub. Hopefully they are, because they were super talented. And then us, we were the openers, and we did just under 3 months with them. And it was just a couple of months after I joined Hirie. I think I joined in May, and the tour started in September.
Oh, how fun!
Yeah.
Those are really cool guys.
Yeah, they're super awesome.
Okay, well, you did a really great job, Blaine, on vinyl trivia, and I think
did an adequate job.
you did pretty good, man.
This is my Jane's addiction. All right.
Love it. So are you guys having a hard time hearing me out there? I guess everybody is having a hard time hearing me. Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
I can hear you now. I can hear you most of the time just fine. It's just there were a couple of spots when you were talking that sucked in weird like filtery, but that just could be the internet connection. No,
but they said too that I keep getting really quiet, but it's okay. I know also if I try to like talk over you, like one of the audios will cut out too. Okay, so that was fun. I'm glad to know that you do not know your jazz musicians, Mr. Jazz Guitar Studies. No, I'm just kidding.
No, I do not. Though, Thelonious Monk-wise, I used to, what did I used to cover of his? I used to cover 2 tracks of his back in the day with random jazz combos. Well, You Need It, if you've ever heard that track.
Okay.
That is one of my favorite Monk tunes. Have you ever heard that one?
No, I don't think I have.
All right, so here, I'm gonna play it for you.
Perfect.
And then there was one other one that I used to cover that was really, really cool. But yeah, that's so funny. Like, I guess I never dove into him playing vibes. I've only heard him play piano.
Wait, really?
Yeah.
I thought it was the opposite. I thought he was a vibes player. Is he a piano player and he plays vibes on the side?
I've never heard him play vibes on anything.
Oh shit, maybe I'm completely wrong. I'm not the jazz major study here, people, okay? So I might have this completely wrong. I thought Thelonious Monk played the vibes. Maybe
it's
not.
all good, yeah. No, he's like a very influential piano player. And give me a second. Let me see if I can find this track. So there's one that's like a blues. It's really cool. Can you hear this at all?
Yeah, yeah.
So it's like oh
yes!
There it is. There it is. It's been so long.
Does that take 5? What is that?
No, that's a Thelonious Monk tune. It's I'll pull it up.
So you graduated in jazz studies. Guess what I graduated in?
What?
You'll never guess. You're supposed to guess.
Oh, okay. Wait. You archaeology.
No, but I like that. I really should have went into that.
Let me try again.
2 more guesses. 2 more guesses.
Fashion design.
Dude, that was my second major. Okay, so my first major was criminology. Then I changed it to fashion design, and then I changed it again, and then this is when I actually graduated with 2 majors, and then I went back for my master's.
Oh, nice. Do you have a degree in psychology?
Close.
Oh man, sociology?
Political science and sociology were my 2 majors.
Oh,
and
nice.
then I went back for my master's in political science. But I'm the perfect example of how one graduates with multiple degrees and doesn't use them for shit. Because now I really should have just majored in music, because I played music through my whole college and all that. But I was just like, well, I don't want to be a band director. That's what I always thought. But I never like looked at it like, oh, this could further my career.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of what I did. Is I just like, I want to be, if I'm gonna do it, I just want to go for it. So that's kind of what I did. And I was like, well, I'm not really concerned about having something to fall back on per se, or like trying to make real money or be an adult. So I was just like, screw it, I'm just gonna go for music. And yeah, so that was Straight No Chaser, by the way. That's
Straight No Chaser. I played that so many times in jazz combos and all that good stuff.
Yeah. Okay. Well, you probably recognize this one too. This one is one of my favorites, but I just love the way that he plays it, and I can't replicate it on a guitar for shit. But I'm looking at pictures. Get to this ad real quick. There we go. It's got this awesome B section. Right here.
I'm gonna guess Thelonious Monk.
Yes.
Yes! What do I win? What do I win?
Oh my God! Your publisher's clearinghouse check will be arriving in the next 3 to 5 days.
So excited. So excited about this.
Yeah, no, I freaking love that tune. I haven't played it in years, but I'm trying to think of the name of it. Yeah, we ended up playing that one and Straight No Chaser a lot. Had this weird jazz combo. It was like a fusion combo. Before I moved to California, it was called Trifunction. It was just me and a bass player and a drummer and sometimes
That's a nice
sax
name.
player.
That's a real nice name. Trifunction.
Yeah. You know what's also funny about band names? Because I was in so many different bands because I would never, no one band would play enough for me. So I would just join so many. And I had one band, since, what is this, the Mixtape Mondays. I was in a band called Jacob Freely and the Mixtape Bandits.
What?
Yeah. And that was my first regionally touring band, even before Shrub. It was super cool. It was kind of like folk pop meets alt country.
Whoa, that's deep.
Yeah.
Let's see who's with Zane. What's up? Goody, what's going on? We still got all our peeps, the coffee club in the house. Lionel Hampton. Oh, that was a good guess, Jonas. I just saw that right now. Winton Martin. Oh, people got real good guesses. I'm just getting these guesses.
Oh, nice.
A lot better than we did, or
I did.
Cool, man. So what have you been doing to stay busy? Like, besides writing music and waking up at the crack of dawn to drink coffee and talk?
I've been trying to work on my my physical health this past year. Has been a big goal of mine. It's easy to get caught up in a very sedentary lifestyle when you're on the road. Not necessarily in the beginning when you're on the road, because you're just barely able to eat, but when you kind of get to that level where there might be catering, or there per diems and all that stuff. And you're just stuck in a bus all day. I noticed, and I've never been much of a health person to begin with, but I woke up one day and realized that I was like not where I wanted to be physically. So it was like the end of last summer, and I decided to dedicate this whole year to getting lifestyle changes in place to feel good about myself and my body. And especially, you know, having to be on the road so much, I want to take care of myself because it's a hard enough lifestyle as it is. And yeah, so that's been my my other passion is a lot of diet and exercise.
Awesome. Yeah, I hear a lot about you don't do the keto diet, right?
Yeah. I'm on the ketogenic diet. Yeah.
So how long have you been doing that for? We want to hear all about your diet, Blaine.
Well,
how do you stay looking so good?
Oh my God. So I kind of eased into it. So the first thing that I've been vegetarian for a very long time. I think I started when I was technically pescatarian when I was like 21 or 22. So like 15 years or something like that. 16, I don't know.
Nice.
Yeah, but like I was what do they call those? An Oreo vegan per se, where as long as I stuck by the rule, I would just eat whatever the fuck crap that I was fed. Like, so I would eat a lot of very sugary stuff. I would eat Oreos. I would eat a lot of just crap food because it fell in the vegetarian, diet. But I started last summer, I started cutting out all my sugar. And that was like tremendous for me. And then I started going to the gym. I didn't know what I was doing, so I just get on the elliptical for 45 minutes and call it a session.
That's me.
Yeah. So like I figured like if I just went every single day, I'd eventually build the habit. Yeah. And then I'd go faster. But if I didn't show up, or if I made it too hard on myself to where I didn't want to show up, then it wouldn't happen. So I just cut out sugar, and which is hard, man. That's the hardest thing. Like, 'cause sugar's in everything. It's in pasta sauce. It's in salad dressing. It's in weird shit that you never think that. Why would sugar be in that? Barbecue sauce, like everything is just full of sugar. So cutting that out was probably my biggest challenge. And then going to the gym and making a habit of going to the gym. And eventually I started learning what I'm supposed to do in the gym. And a good chunk of that comes from Christy, because she's very big health nut. But I had started this process before we had started being together. And she was just able to assist me on things that I already wanted to do, not like dragging me to do things. And then after I cut out the sugar, I started cutting out the carbohydrates, your rices, your pastas, your breads, and then replacing them with things like, cauliflower and taking out fruits and, a lot of starchy vegetables, potatoes, and then replacing them with different things. And then I did an entire tour being both vegetarian and ketogenic. And that, wow. And being vegetarian and ketogenic is probably one of the hardest things you could ever do, as far as diet wise, because you have to be very picky with your vegetables and your selections. And when you're on the road, you don't really have options. So a lot of grocery shopping and a lot of like skipping meals. I can't believe I didn't end up eating a whole crap load of pizza, because that's half the tour diet, right? Is pizza. Yeah, for me, a lot of pizza and a lot of hot fries. Yeah, exactly. You get into Canada, you have that poutine going on and shit. But yeah, so it's like that was one of the hardest things I've freaking ever done. I think I only caved twice. Once was for a home cooked Hawaiian meal, because I've always learned I'm not going to be rude to someone if there's something that I can potentially eat, because like it's not like you know, if they're gonna have some sticky rice or some, you know, go out of their way to make some poke or whatever, you know, home cooked meal, and I don't have like an ethical dilemma with it, I'm gonna get down, take a cheat day, you know. So there was one time where we had this amazing Hawaiian home cooked meal, and I just got down. And then there was one other time where I was at an Indian buffet, and I have a weakness for naan. It is insane. Like, you'd think it'd be like some sort of ridiculous dessert, but it's naan bread. And so those were my only 2 times on a month. I think it was a month-long tour that I caved. But then when I got back from tour, I started incorporating meat into my diet. And to kind of offset my ethical quandary with that is I upped not only my meat game to, you know, grass-fed, sustainably and humanely raised and organic, but I upped my vegetable game as well and my other game. So like I try to eat all organic, all you know, like as top tier as I can afford.
Wait, so are you not vegetarian anymore?
I am not vegetarian anymore. No. I know.
Oliver's not happy.
Yeah.
Was that weird for you to like go from being a vegetarian for so long to like eating meat again? Like, what did that feel like?
It was super weird. Honestly, it was super weird because I had to like gradually introduce stuff into my system. So like I started out, because I started out adding in like poultry and like just like one meal here and just add a little bit in and then like try it out. And then I like slowly progressed to the other meats and try to only eat what fits my guidelines of properly raised meats.
Yeah.
So I started one thing at a time. And one thing that I did notice was when I started eating some of the greasier stuff, I was having a little bit of stomach issues because it was just too much, if that makes sense.
Sure. Yeah.
But then after time figuring out it was kind of crazy because I got to kind of relearn as an adult, what I like and what I don't like. You don't get that opportunity a lot. But going so long without it, I was like, oh yeah, so this is what chicken tastes like. This is what a steak tastes like. I couldn't remember the last time I had a steak prior to this year.
Wow.
And yeah, just little things like that. Like I realized that I really like lamb a lot.
I said, ew! Oh my God! So 2020 has really had an effect on you, Mr. Blaine Dillinger.
It has, but
he's eating meat again, folks.
So yeah, so I've been doing that, and I've been discovering this thing called carb cycling. So like, I've been finding my if I properly time like my non-bread binges, I can do them before like a long run the next day. They could get 5 to 7 miles in, and I can use those carbs, and they're actually helping me rather than hurting me.
Yeah.
And like, yeah, just by switching that diet and starting that lifestyle change of going to the gym, and then eventually, you know, developing from there, I've dropped I dropped 63 pounds.
What? Shut the fuck up.
In a year.
Wait. In this year?
And actually, I mean, I dropped them. I think I hit the 63 pound mark in the beginning of 2020 before the quarantine. And right now I've been building up a little bit of muscle. So I'm sitting right around 173, I think. But I was 230 or heavier than 230 but last summer.
Whoa, I never noticed that. I guess are you really tall? How tall are you?
I'm 6'1".
Oh, you're super tall then. Okay, yeah. Because I've seen videos of you playing before and you never looked overweight. So I guess it wasn't a fact of you being overweight, just you getting yourself to where you wanted to be.
Yeah, I mean, I was overweight for where I felt to be. I would see pictures, and I was really good at kind of hiding stuff well. Like, I'd pick clothing that like and styles where I could like not feel so restricted, or I'd wear like undershirts under a button-up shirt, so I would have that not necessarily weird effect. But I was definitely noticing it, especially by the end of last summer. I was like, damn, I need to do something, because this is not healthy, and I'm not happy with myself, which is a weird thing to say physically. I was happy with like where I was with my career and on all that stuff.
Yeah, wow. Everybody, let's see. We have so many comments. Let me try to catch up on these.
Yeah, definitely.
Hold on a second. Let me get out here. Everybody's saying, oh, congratulations on the weight loss. I had no idea that you had lost so much weight. That's so crazy. Don't worry, folks. I'm next because I'm going to follow the Blaine Dillinger diet. And have you ever thought about being a personal trainer?
God, no. I'm still looking for personal trainers. Like, as far as I know, I'm still like learning forms, learning exercises, learning all of the stuff about it. I'd be good at like helping others to motivate, because I know what works for me, but I would not be good as to be like, here's what you need to do in the gym, because that's I don't even know what the fuck I'm doing yet.
Yeah. Let's see. Oh, people are so pop goes alt country, folk pop meets rock country. Oh, they're talking about the band you were in.
Yeah, if you ever get bored, it's called Jacob Freely and the Mixtape Bandits, and I think it's on Spotify. Jacob with a K.
Nice. Andy, where did you say you were at? I think in Montreal. He said all the diet talk's making him hungry. Goody says keto pizza, yum. Can you have
Yes.
Is there keto pizza?
Yeah. So here's the cool thing about the keto diet is now, because it's becoming a thing, right? A lot of companies are making stuff within it. So like, here's kind of like a general, real quick breakdown. You're supposed to stay under X amount of carbs. I've heard as high as 50 carbs, which is kind of my goal. I try to stay under 50 carbs a day. But if you're like on a therapeutic keto diet, they try to get down under 20. But so net carbs is what they're talking about. So the body doesn't digest fiber, right? And so a carbohydrate, if you like have a piece of bread, it has however many carbs and then however many grams of fiber. And then you subtract the fiber, which is non-digestible, from the carbs, and that's what the net carbs that you're taking in.
Okay.
Okay. So what they do with a lot of these things, they make like ketogenic pizza crust or keto bread. I have keto bread in the fridge and keto pizza crust in the freezer, where they basically use a lot of fiber.
Okay.
And then they, that way they can get the carb count down, and then they'll use different things. So like if I like want a keto risotto, they'll use cauliflower to bring down the carbs. Or
Yum.
if I want like a pasta, they actually have a pasta which is -1 carb.
What?
I swear to God, it's super weird, but it exists.
So that's the pasta that we want, because if we eat enough of that pasta, then we'll just lose weight just by eating it.
Exactly. So there's a lot of options now for the keto diet. Like I had grilled cheese sandwich last night for dinner. The one sugar that doesn't count as much as the other sugars are lactose. So your cheeses, your heavy cream, and the whole idea is to get your fat content way up. So like instead of drinking milk, you want to drink like milk in your coffee, you add heavy cream instead of half and half, like because the fat content is much higher.
Yeah, I always wondered what that bottle of cream or goat milk or whatever it is that you put in your coffee, because it looks hella thick.
Yeah, that's heavy cream. It's we call it heavy whipping cream as well. It's basically like mostly milk fat. So it's before they separate it or strain it or anything, and it is you wanna make your coffee freaking delicious. That is the way to do it.
But guys, remember, you have to be on the keto diet, because if you just drink your coffee with whipping cream, we're all gonna get fat.
Yeah, so that's the other thing. Like, if you're having a high fat diet, you can't also have a high carbohydrate diet, because all of the sugars and all of the carbs with all of the fats, that's where you're gonna run into a lot of trouble. So if you can't just be like, oh, I'm gonna eat bacon and bread all day, because you're gonna have kind of the worst of both worlds. The fat. Oh, go ahead.
No, I was going to say, so is it, because I remember the Atkins diet used to be a thing like back in the day. Is keto and Atkins like comparable at all? Or?
Yeah, so I mean, you'll have a bunch of low carb diets coming around, and you basically have three what they call macros. You have protein, you have fat, and you have carbohydrates, right? So people have learned long ago that like reducing your carbohydrate and your sugar intake helps you reduce your weight and be healthier. And then it's just been kind of a matter of like your other two macros. So sometimes it's a low carb, high protein diet. Sometimes it's the one that you hear in for most mainstream people is high carb and high protein and low fat, the low fat craze, right? And then, yeah, but the keto diet is high fat, and then lower protein and extremely low carbs. So the whole idea is that your body actually changes fuel sources, which is fucking weird. So when you don't have carbohydrates to burn fuel, your liver stops filtering for sugar and insulin and all the things that it does, and it starts pulling from your fat cells and making these things called ketones.
Okay.
And then the body uses the ketones as fuel, like it would use carbs before, but but once you cut out the carbs, then your liver starts kind of switching gears, and then your body runs on ketones rather than carbs, except in certain muscles and partially the brain, which takes protein and converts it into carbs through this process called glyconeurogenesis.
Good Lord, Blaine, are you sure you didn't study physical education, or what is it called when you study anatomy? Are you sure you didn't go to school for physical fitness?
I'm a super nerd, and like when I was going to make such a drastic change to my body, I just wanted to make sure that that I was well, at least for myself, comfortable enough in it to make a decision like that. Because I wouldn't be like, if someone's like, oh yeah, ice cream's the new diet, bro, and I'd be like, oh sweet, why? And then someone else is like, why is that? Oh, fucking Bob down the street told me that it was like, that was it, man, and he lost like 10 pounds, bro. So like I didn't want to be in there. I feel like if I'm gonna do something and change a whole lifestyle around, I should at least know the overview.
Yeah, for sure. So we have a few questions. I'm going to finish up the diet with this question, then we're going to move on to some music questions. But how does your diet give you an energy boost?
How does my diet give me an energy boost? That's a great question. It's weird. So when I eat too many carbs, before, or I'd eat a lot of sugar, I would go like this, and then I would go like this, right? I would be jacked up, and then I would crash. Same thing as if I have too much coffee, which still happens from time to time. But with the sugar, like your body is like either ramping up to produce all this insulin, right, to deal with all the sugar, and then it's trying to absorb as much of the sugar as it can and convert it to energy and use it. And then you get this super high, and then all of a sudden, like, it just drops. So I would be up and down and up and down and up and down and up and down. I found being on the keto diet, I am not up like I am up when I'm on sugar, but I am up just in general, and I'm pretty even keeled the entire time. I don't necessarily have these moments of super crash unless, you know, there's other factors involved. If I hit the gym too hard, or if I'm like, you know, having a weird emotional day or something. But yeah, so the diet has been like keeping me up at a consistent pace. And I've also been finding out that I can have the freedom to eat kind of whatever I want. Like, I haven't, since I've started, I've never like portion controlled.
Okay.
And I've never really portion controlled before, but like, I've been in this quarantine, right? And gym time has been scarce. Workout time has been scarce. It's been very creative. There's been a lot of days off. And before the quarantine, I was, you know, sticking around this 170 mark, right? Within 2 or 3 pounds each way. And like, there'd be days where I just like eat my freaking sadness because I'm just stuck here at home, and like do no exercise, and just, I have yet to have any change in weight. Like, my body is here now, and it's just staying there, which is super
awesome.
Super crazy. Because before, you know, like when you binge eat, you're like, oh, I'm gonna get so fat, and like I'm gonna slippery slope or whatever, and like it's been crazy. I've been like,
Blaine, I had no idea men thought like that too.
they do. I'm in touch with my feelings and my neurosis, I guess.
I love it. Okay, let's see. Janet wants to know how many guitars do you own, and which one is your favorite?
That is a great question. I have most of them out, so I can make a move over this way.
Sweet.
And man down. All right, let's try this again. I'm so bad at this. You'd think for as many times as I've done these things, I'd be good at this. All right, so this one is new. It's an ook, and I like it. Yay, ook.
What brand is that?
That's Lanakai.
Nice. Okay.
And it's just one left over from my landlord, actually, who's in Hawaii.
And
same thing with this guitar, which I actually really love this guitar. You've probably seen me play this way too much. This has kind of been my favorite lately, just because I miss having a nylon string and living that bossa life. Right?
Was that girl from
love it.
Was that girl from Ipanema?
That was, yeah.
Woo!
Girl from Ipanema, yeah.
I won that
one! You did, you nailed that one. This, I love it. This is my little shred ook, and it is...
Is that electric?
Made by a couple... Yeah, it's electric. It's got P-bass pickups separated for the pickup structure, and it's made out of reclaimed koa wood from Big Island. Joyner Instruments, the guy is amazing. Custom specs. This is made out of reclaimed koa wood from the Big Island. It's electric strings, and actually, you know, you've heard it, but the people haven't heard it. You know, the intro and outro little crazy guitar parts for Ninja Elephant, right?
What's on
That's
that?
all on this.
Oh,
yeah.
So cool, dude. Fuck yes.
Yeah. And you might dig this one. This is my bass that I've had forever. It's a Schecter.
Oh, shit.
I used to, when I was 19, 20, 21, I used to play bass for a hard rock cover band around Ohio. And yeah.
Hey, did you have your mohawk back then?
I did not. No, I had. Well, back then when I was playing with them, I had like just long hair down probably middle of my back.
Oh shit!
Before that, I had dreads. I had a bunch
Oh.
of weird hairstyles.
You've gone through a whole
Yeah.
transformation.
Whole transformation. This one is my Taylor, which has been on the road with me forever, which I really, really love. You can see how worn it is.
Yeah.
How much it's been abused by me and my band members.
You're gonna get a Willie Nelson hole right there.
I'm hoping. Then there's this one which I recently got fixed up. And I've had some work done. And this is one of my Sweetwoods.
Oh, wait, I gotta zoom that in really quick. Is that purple?
It's super weird. The dude, like, the guy who makes my guitars made it, and he's like, dude, I don't know if you want this one because I really fucked it up. And I'm like, dude, this is the greatest thing I've ever seen.
Dude,
give me this guitar.
Yeah, it's dope.
So like it's a Strat style, and it's got Yngwie Malmsteen pickups in it, which have this amazing like mid-range boost. But yeah, I really love it. The action's really, really nice. Got the hardtail, semi-hardtail, I guess, on it. But yeah, and it looks like there's little random ghost faces in it and shit. I really love this guitar. I'm glad that I got it fixed up. There was like a jack issue and some pickup issues and some fretting issues. But I'm gonna start rocking that one more and more. And then this one is also a Sweetwood. The guy's based out of Santa Cruz. Glenn Sweetwood is just amazing luthier.
Oh,
and
really?
His guitars are
He's based
super
out of
dope.
this Santa Cruz? Like this?
That's Santa Cruz. That's Santa Cruz. So he made me this one. This one is my baby. This one has been with me so long on the road. This is the one that most people see me with every day at every show all around the country and other countries. This is also a Strat style, or what they call a super Strat with the HSS or HSS. It's got a tool pull piece bridge here. It's got locking tuners. The neck is bloodwood, mirrored pick guard, which I scratched to shit. And it's kind of like grayish black thing, which you can semi see the wood grain through depending on the day. Lots of scratches, lots of dents. It's even got little chunks missing out of the fret, the back side of the neck here. And then in the neck, there's normally what they call a truss rod, which is a little metal rod that you can adjust. Beside that are two other carbon fiber rods, so that you can like take this thing on tour. You can probably stand on it.
I'm sure you've tried it out, right?
Yeah, and it just keeps going and going and going. I have beat this guitar to oblivion, and I love it. My friends at Seymour Duncan hooked me up with some, those Yngwies and the other one, but these are STK4s, I believe, noiseless pickups, which are amazing. And then this is a 59 Trembucker in the bridge. I love that guitar. If I had a favorite guitar of all time, it would probably be that bad boy, because it's just been with me for so long. And then the newest electric, I guess, edition is this guy right here. This is the only guitar that has a name.
I was just gonna ask you if you named your guitars. Beat me to it.
The rest of them don't. There's no headstock. That's just a tuner. This one, I originally had a prototype of this in white. This is also a Sweetwood guitar. It's one of his new models. And this is cool because of the pickup configuration. You have the humbucker here and the two singles, but instead of them evenly spaced, this freaking single coil is like way down here by this humbucker. So it's super cool. And it's got the, what do they call that? Floyd Rose-esque type of thing. So all the tuners are down here and it locks in. And yeah, it's in this cool like matte finish. And I love the way the fretboard looks and the staining he did on that in the neck. It's got this little spear for stabbing people. And so the original one, you can see I've already chipped this. Sorry, Glenn. I originally had it in white, and it kind of looks like the body shape looks kind of like an axe to me.
Yeah.
And it was white, so it looked like this big like bone axe. And my grandmother on my dad's side was adopted, and her original last name before she was adopted was Bone Cutter.
That's pretty badass.
Yeah, so this guitar is named Bone Cutter.
Awesome.
After her. And is that all of them that I have right now?
Seems like quite the collection there.
Yeah, I think that's it right now. I mean, I also have a PRS and a Guild, or yeah, in the pool house, I guess.
Wow.
Which technically aren't mine, just like that. The ook and the ook and the nylon string aren't technically mine. I've had so many guitars. I have an addiction. I've had a bunch of different nylon strings, a bunch of different like. God, I've probably had 100+ guitars.
Oh shit! I was about to say you're talking to the queen of collectors, but I definitely have not gone through 100 fucking bases.
Yeah, it's just a matter of like I don't keep them because I'm always like, when you're a broke musician, you're like, oh, I got to sell this to get this for this project, and I got to sell this for this and to get this. And I've worked in my hometown, I worked in 2 different guitar shops, and that was not healthy. So I'd always be getting these, cheap guitars that were just good enough or modded just right to fit a project. And then I'd have to sell them because I'd be between projects or I'd be in a different project. And it's just like kind of like one of those things of necessity.
Yeah.
Yeah. And now I'm finally able to keep most of them.
Awesome. So Marjol, I'm sorry, I always say your name wrong. He wants to know what your favorite venue is to play.
Red Rocks.
Okay, that didn't take you long.
No. Red Rocks is the only place I've ever played that was so beautiful that I stepped on stage and I was like, wow, this is beautiful. And then I was like, oh shit, Blaine, you're supposed to play guitar. Yeah.
That is way cool. How many countries have you been to while on tour?
That's a good question. So far it's been sort of limited, and I'm a little bummed because we were supposed to play a festival in Tahiti this summer.
Oh, wow.
But that obviously didn't happen because of the world.
Things will get rescheduled though, yeah?
Yeah, I'm hoping. It's just a matter of like when everybody reschedules, like people reschedule on the same date. Tours are trying to reschedule over festivals or in different parts of the year than they were originally. It's just kind of one of those things. Like hopefully it all works out evenly, but we'll see how the scheduling conflicts go. Let's see, Mexico, Canada, Costa Rica, the Cayman Islands, and I'm forgetting one. There's one other country that I've been to that I've played. And then if you're not counting, Hawaii, which is basically could be another country.
Yeah.
Think about it.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, you're living the dream. So many people wish that they could do, what you're doing. Do you have advice for any struggling musicians that might be out there?
I could give you the advice that works for me. There's always somebody better than you. And by somebody, I mean, I could probably walk outside and flick somebody in the ear and they're probably a better guitar player than me. So like, unless you're insanely the best person out there, like there's no room for your ego. Like
you have to get along well with the people you're working with, and you have to be like a reasonable person. So that's gotten me so far, because I am semi easy to get along with, and try to treat people with respect. The other thing is, just say yes, unless it's like the dumbest situation ever. Just keep saying yes. I said yes to Hirie when they weren't paying me anything, and I had to drive to San Diego multiple times to take this gig. But I said yes because I wanted to take advantage of every opportunity. If I'm gonna be a musician and say that I'm a musician, I need to try out every potential opportunity. And like, I tried so many others that failed, or didn't necessarily fail, but just brought me somewhere else. And just because I kept saying yes, I wouldn't be in California, I wouldn't be in Hirie, I wouldn't be anything unless I said yes and was semi easy to get along with. And keep practicing, obviously. I feel like that's a given, because like, you have to be as good as you can be, and you have to be like your best version of a player. But those would be my 3 things of advice, I guess.
Yeah, no, that's great. Thank you so much. And thank you so much for hanging out with me for an hour tonight, and for everybody, and just letting us get to know you a little more, a little better. Can you tell us how we can support you and your projects in the future?
Yeah, that would be awesome. So I have a website that my most amazing girlfriend made for me, and she also built me a store.
Aww.
And so now we have, so now there's merch to buy. So you can go to dillingermusic.com, and you can get all the things: stickers, buttons, shirts, coffee mugs that say "Coffee with Blaine."
Coffee with Blaine!
Yes, exactly. Dillingermusic.com. That is a great way to support. I also have a Patreon, patreon.com/dillingermusic. That's for people who really want to help support the process of artists making art.
And one quick thing, sorry to interrupt you. Will you be adding a physical fitness section to your Patreon? Because I think a lot of people would subscribe to that.
A physical fitness section of my Patreon. I will consider that.
Consider it, Blaine. Consider it. You know, I got the good ideas.
You do got the good ideas. I need a lot of help with that, because I'm a learner when it comes to physical fitness. But so patreon.com/dillingermusic. You can get all the perks, discounts on my merch. You can get I have video lessons for people learning to play instruments. I have
and to be clear, do people have to pay for those video lessons once they're members of your Patreon, or how does it work?
No, like for the video lesson tier, I think it's called Let's Learn Something Together. It's as with Patreon, it's a monthly subscription type thing, but they just get access to the entire library.
Nice.
And the people who, at my most basic level, is called Beyond the Music. You get to hear, you get free downloads of basically everything that I create. You get behind the scenes videos of me making stuff. You get artwork to download. You get to hear music that other people have not heard from old projects, collaborations I've done with other people. Most of the people that I work with are really cool about letting me share their music with my Patreon members. And then I have this thing called the Producers Club level, where I basically sit down a couple times a month. We do a big group video chat, kind of like this, like a Zoom call. And we just chat, and they can ask me questions, and I can be like, oh, here's how I use DistroKid to put out my music, or here's the marketing strategy for this, or here's this unreleased project I'm working on with this artist that not going to come out for like 6 months. So a lot of cool ways to support. It's very expensive making music, and the return on it is very little. So if you like the music, that is a great way to support. And other means of support that aren't financial, you can like my Facebook page, my Instagram, you can share my Spotify, my Pandora, YouTube, all the things /Dillinger Music, basically, or
Yeah.
at Dillinger Music.
And I'll put all those links in the comments for everybody. I wanted to show you these little things. They're like homies, but they're punks.
Yeah.
But they reminded me of you because they had little mohawks. Can you see
Oh,
them?
what? Yeah, that's
And then
super dope.
And then this one.
Nice.
They're super cool. So I was like, I got to send them to you.
I love that.
you
That's
could-
amazing.
And they have magnets, so they just like stick on everything. But cool, guys. So thank you, Blaine, so much. I had such a fun time with you, and I've just been having such a great time every morning hanging out with you. If you guys don't know about Coffee with Blaine, it's a morning thing that he does on Instagram and Facebook. If you follow him, then you'll see him pop up anywhere from like 6 o'clock in the morning to like 8, you know, to really get us going and get us motivated. And it's really fucking fun. And if you guys don't know about Coffee Club, now you do. Please push the subscribe, the follow, the friend, whatever you got to do. Follow this man. He is so kind-hearted. He is such an amazing musician and just a great friend in general. So please support his music. Thank you guys for joining me. I love you all. Subscribe to my podcast if you haven't already at The Sunshine Show. And I think we're going to call it a night. What do you think, Blaine?
That sounds amazing. That sounds amazing. Thank you so much for having me on. I really, really appreciate you and taking the time to chat with me and to introduce me to all the amazing people in, all the bass kids.
Yeah, man. Thank you so much. And I'll see you. Are we having coffee tomorrow morning or?
Yeah, we'll be having coffee tomorrow morning.
All right. I'll see you for coffee.
Hell yeah. Have a great night, Sunshine.
All right. Bye, brother.
Take care.